Hey guys, TrainerDC here, coming at you with another video. Pokemon Legends Z to A is only the second entry in the Pokemon Legends series, and while Pokemon Legends Arceus sets up a nice template for us going into Legends Z to A, we really don't know what aspects of Legends Arceus will be carried over into Legends Z to A and what will be expanded upon even further. But one aspect that I think we will see again in Legends Z to A is the ride Pokemon, like how we saw in Legends Arceus. For those of you who don't remember, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, we had a select few Pokemon that we could ride to use as different functions within the game. Like, for example, Hisuian Braviary was our flying Pokemon. You had Ursaluna to find items on the ground. You used Wordeer as your running Pokemon, essentially taking the place of your bike in that game. And lastly, you also had Basculegion, who was your surf Pokemon in the game. So I think we're going to see something very similar in Pokemon Legends Z to A, but with a different Pokemon. And I'm thinking that Zygarde might be our ride Pokemon in this upcoming game. I've said before in prior videos that I think Zygarde is going to get a multitude of new forms in this game. I'll leave a card above to that video if you haven't seen it. But nevertheless, we already have 10% form Zygarde, who could very easily take the place of our ride Pokemon for running, aka our new bike, because we know that Zygarde's 10% form is very fast, and we can have that be our rideable Pokemon. What if they introduce a new Zygarde form that takes the place of a bird, which again would make a lot of sense. I think I said in that prior video before that Zygarde is surveying the Kalos region. It would make a ton of sense for one of its forms to be a bird Pokemon, a Pokemon that could survey the region from the skies. Because right now Zygarde really can't do that. If you think about it, Zygarde is just stuck to the ground in all of its forms. It doesn't have the ability to fly. So it would make sense for them to introduce a flying form for Zygarde, and that would take the fly Pokemon in this game, that Mantle. Then we could have another form of Zygarde. Maybe it's a fish. That will be our surf Pokemon in the game. Again, that would make sense as well. Zygarde right now doesn't really have a way to survey the oceans. Imagine if you're an evil organization like Team Flare or some evil Pokemon or whatever the case may be that's a threat to the Kalos region. You could theoretically just hide in the sea and Zygarde would never know because Zygarde doesn't have a form for the ocean. So it would make sense for them to introduce a fish form of Zygarde in this game that we would use as our swimmable, rideable Pokemon. Lastly, that leaves our Ursaluna equivalent for this game, which I don't know if they'll have that mechanic in there again. They might swap it out for a different type of rideable Pokemon, but that remains to be seen. But nevertheless, I think it makes a ton of sense for us to use the different Zygarde forms as our ride Pokemon in this game. Not only does it fit the game thematically, because obviously Zygarde is going to be playing a huge role in this game, and I speculated before in another video as well that Zygarde might be one of our starter Pokemon, and if that's the case, it also being our ride Pokemon would make a ton of sense within the confines and context of this game. I'll leave a card above to that video about Zygarde being our starter. You might think it's a crazy idea, but if you actually watch that video, it makes a ton of sense in my opinion. But nevertheless, this is one possibility they could go down when it comes to the ride Pokemon in this game. Of course, the other possibility is they just do the same thing that they did for Legends Arceus, and that is that they just select a few random Pokemon to be our ride Pokemon in this game. They could go down that path as well, but in my opinion, I think it would be much more interesting if we actually saw the different Zygarde forms take the place of our ride Pokemon, because Zygarde has to play a huge role in this game. We all know that. Zygarde's on the cover. It's Pokemon Legends Z to A. Legends Zygarde to most likely, the new A legendary that we're all speculating is going to come. Card above to that video as well. But I think that him being our ride Pokemon, these different Zygarde forms, because it's no shot that they're not introducing new forms, so it would make sense if they tied these new forms into the different rideable Pokemon that will need to traverse the region or traverse Lumio City. That would be really cool to see. Of course, like I said before, they could go down the other route and maybe like Go-Goats are Pokemon that takes the form of a bike, since in the original X and Y we ride on Go-Goat in Lumio City as it is already. Maybe you have Talonflame be your flying Pokemon, maybe your surfing Pokemon. I can't really think of a good one from Kalos that would fit into that. Maybe your surfing Pokemon's a brand new Pokemon entirely. We'll have to wait and see on all of that, but like I said before, I think the better thing for them to do, the thing that would make more sense, or not even more sense, but would fit better into the confines of the story, is if we had Zygarde forms be our ride Pokemon. Because the thing is, as well as I said this in the Zygarde being our starter video, but I really do hope that Game Freak makes Zygarde an integral part of the story in this game, because Zygarde is obviously the protector of the Kalos region. We never got to see what exactly it will will do when the Kalos region goes into disarray. How will it protect the region in the original X and Y? Because obviously that was going to be saved for Pokemon Z, which never came because those games got canceled. So it'd be cool to see that Zygarde takes a huge role in this game and is with us from the very beginning, being our pseudo starter, if you will, and then being our ride Pokemon as well. I hope Game Freak goes down this route with Zygarde and doesn't just leave it to be the Arceus of the game, where you don't get to see it or get to battle it until the completion of your Pokedex. I hope they have Zygarde be a more integral part of the game than Arceus was in Legends Arceus, although within the confines of Legend Arceus, I think it makes sense the way they handled Arceus in that game. But with Zygarde, I think it would make much more sense since it has all of these different forms at different power levels to be scattered throughout the story, whether it be your pseudo starter or your ride Pokemon, or maybe they'll do something else entirely with Zygarde. I just hope they don't save Zygarde till the end to be that final boss, because it needs to be trickled throughout the story. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. Do you guys agree with me and think that'd be really cool to see Zygarde as our different ride Pokemon in this game? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from Trainer DC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.